Hello there, Booktube. And I am addressing Booktube specifically, because this is the cancel culture tag. So, Epic Tales decided that I should handle this. And, can open worms everywhere. You have no idea what you've caused. Because my opinion on this is not the norm on Booktube. I have a very conservative opinion on this, and you're not allowed to be conservative on Booktube. Being conservative on Booktube is enough to get you cancelled. Ironically. So, yeah. This is not going to go down well. This is going to piss off a lot of people. I have gone back to the original makers of this tag. I have not watched their video yet. So, I will watch their video, but I've not watched it yet because I didn't want it to influence what I was going to say. I am, however, going to read out their description. Welcome to the cancel culture tag. Please feel free to disagree with us and challenge us on our ideas around cancel culture in the comments, but please stay civil and respectful. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Makes sense. Black lives matter, trans lives matter, trans women are women, you get the idea. Under no circumstance will challenging these ideas be tolerated. So you're a fucking liar. So, feel free to disagree with us and challenge us on our ideas around cancel culture in the comments, but if you challenge us on our ideas, that will not be tolerated and you'll be banned and your comments will be deleted. So, I'm not going to watch their video. Fuck their video. Their video is a load of bullshit. Their video is nothing more than pandering crap. But you know what? The cancel culture tag, that I'm still going to do. Because that needs to be done, apparently. Apparently, I need to actually give an opinion. So first of all, before we even go to the questions, Black Lives Matter, Trans Lives Matter, Trans Women are Women. First of all, Black Lives Matter doesn't fucking matter. Black Lives Matter is a fucking terrorist organisation. Fuck Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter can fucking die. Black Lives Matter is nothing more than an urban terrorist outfit that is disproportionately destroying more black homes than it is white homes. They've actively set fire to many, many American cities and think that that's somehow fighting for freedom. They are doing nothing of the sort. They are a waste of fucking skin. Regardless of the colour of it. Also, the vast majority of Black Lives Matter are white people. White people cosplaying as black, some kind of black rights activist group. They have nothing to do with black activism. Trans lives matter. How about fuck off and leave the Black Lives Matter mantra to them? Stop stealing their fucking mantra. Think of one of your own. Also, there's a reason that the LGB Alliance has shown up. It's because they're sick of the trans debate. They're sick of their organisations and their movements being co-opted by the fucking trans movement. I've already covered this in my JK Rowling video, so you're welcome to go and check that out. It'll be linked in the description. Because honestly, that covers the trans debate way, way better than I ever could in anything else, and I'm not going to be able to go into detail here. I've set my camera to high detail, which means I only get 45 minutes on my memory card. There is no way in hell I could cover this in 45 minutes. So yeah. Trans women are women. Well, no, they're fucking not. Trans women are men. That's the definition. They are men who have transitioned into women. Saying trans women are women is a dog whistle for the gender gender debate that they've set up. This weird kind of idea that gender is somehow not biological. It fucking is biological. Trans women are men who have had the three-piece taken away and a gas stove fitted. That's what trans women are. And you know what? I will treat them as women because they've gone to the trouble of actually presenting as women. They've gone to the trouble of making themselves look like women. They act like women. I'll treat them like women. They are legally women, but no, they're biologically men. And if you don't like that, tough shit. Reality's not going to change because it offends your sensibilities. So yeah, I do get the idea. Those opinions won't be tolerated. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I'm going to go into your comment section. I'm going to send this link directly to you. Go ahead and block me. You wanted to start this debate? Here's the opposition. Eat it, bitch. So, I haven't even said who the person is who started this tag. It's Gunpowder Fiction and Plot. I've never watched their channel. Somehow it's a YouTube channel in Booktube that I'm not subscribed to. I'm subscribed to over 200 different Booktubers. How the fuck did this one squeeze through the net? But anyway, tag questions. Number 1, tag people. To generate interesting conversations, try to tag at least one channel who you think might have a different, either opposing or more radical opinion to you, and one who might have a similar one. I'm not even going to try and do that. First of all, if I tagged anyone who I thought agreed with me, they'd get cancelled alongside me, and I'm not going to throw anyone else on the fire. And by God, I'm not going to tag anyone who actually disagrees with me, because why the fuck would I want to give their hateful... Their hateful, gender-denying, racist, race-baiting bullshit another platform. Fuck that shit. Yeah, if you're one of those people, I'm not going to give your platform any more exposure. You've got enough fucking exposure. You're the mainstream opinion at the moment. Fuck that noise. So, no, I'm not going to tag anyone. I'm not going to tag anyone because I can't think of a single person I could tag who has the freedom I have to speak their mind and actually has enough important things to say that won't also be covered in this video. So, no, I won't. 2, what is cancel / call-out culture? First of all, no one calls it call-out culture. It's called cancel culture. Right. Cancel culture is fascism. That's what it is. It is fascism. It is mob rule mentality. You know, back before civilization had settled down, when someone would say, that person over there's a witch, and then everyone would get a pitchfork and stab them with it, draw them up and got them in the middle of the fucking town square. That's cancel culture, only now we do it metaphorically on social media. You all know what cancel culture is. So, 3, is cancel culture a positive or negative force in the Booktube, Bookstagram, bookish community? Bookstagram? Is that even really a thing? Anyway, yeah. And why do you think this? Well, of course it's negative. Is fascism a good thing? No, it's not, because I'm not a fascist. No, I don't think it's a good idea to take someone and decide they lose the right to free speech and free expression because they disagree with you. You know what? I don't want this original video to be destroyed. I don't want it to be taken down. It's hateful crap. But I don't want it to be taken down because you have the right to voice your opinion. And frankly, I want you to identify yourselves. I want all the Black Lives Matter supporters to identify themselves. Wave flags, post posters in your windows. I want you to identify. I want you identified, shaved, tattooed, so I know exactly who you are, so I can avoid you like the scum you are. So why do I think this? Oh God, why do I think fascism is a bad thing? I cannot believe I'm having to explain this to people on the internet. I mean, if you don't know why fascism is a bad thing, then... Oh God, how do I begin to explain the history of like the last 100 years to these people? Why is fascism a bad thing? I don't know. How about all the millions of people who've died under it? Is that a good enough fucking excuse? Fascism is bad because without freedom, without the ability to disagree, to voice your opinion, to have an unpopular opinion, without the ability to say what you want to say without being destroyed for it, we are going to be in a situation where someone is going to dictate what the prevailing opinion is, what the opinion of the state is. And as soon as that's decided, we end up with a situation where if you disagree with that, you are no longer allowed to exist. And no, the liberal, and I say liberal, as in the left-wing progressive American bullshit that they call liberal. They're not liberals. They don't know what the word liberal means. But that perspective of cancel culture, where someone calls you out on social media and you get some hate messages for a bit and then it all kind of goes away. You know, like Lindsay Ellis got. You know, that crap. Because Lindsay Ellis wasn't really cancelled, because she can still work. She can still produce videos. Yes, she gets a shitload of hate messages from a bunch of trolls on Twitter. She closed down her own Twitter account because of all the crap she got. And she got effectively disowned by a load of her friends and colleagues, which was shit. But you know who actually has cancel culture? The right wing. Because when the left come for the right wing, all the fucking businesses and government associations, the social media platforms, they all come with them. Which means when you end up with someone like Tommy Robinson, right, whose name you can Google if you wish, you'll find nothing by him. You can stick it in YouTube, you can type in his name, you will find smear piece after smear piece after smear piece about Tommy Robinson. You won't find his channel. He has a YouTube channel. You will not find it in the search engines. Good job finding it. In fact, you won't even find it if you search for it on Google. The only way you will find it is if you go to a competitor search engine that does not edit your search terms, such as DuckDuckGo, which is specifically a search engine that does not change any of your results. It tries to be as accurate as possible, and it's why it is so popular amongst dark web users. Because it actually gives you the results you want, not curated results that Google wants you to have. So, yeah, Tommy Robinson. He is, according to the media, a hateful white nationalist, bigoted prick. That's according to the media. He's not any of those things. He was a member of the EDL, a founding member, I believe, which is a hooligan football group that a football hooligans group that kind of grew out of a rivalry with local extremist Muslims in Britain. And yes, they did have ties to white nationalism. They did have ties to the BNP. There were some very, very racist arseholes in there. And Tommy Robinson has done his best to try and distance himself from those people, because whilst he was angry at a lot of the crap that was going on, what ended up happening is both sides got radicalised and he ended up being taken along with it. And now he's realised how radical that group had become. He's trying to distance himself as best as he can and become a more moderate person where he can argue against the radical on this side of the argument, because both sides were radical and both sides were fucking awful. But this side doesn't get cancelled. So yeah, he has been completely destroyed by cancel culture. He has been banned from Twitter, banned from Facebook, banned from Instagram, banned from every single major social media account that you can think of, with the exception of YouTube, which doesn't ban but does restrict and block his content so it doesn't appear in search terms. So the only way you can find it is if you have a direct link to his channel and his videos. Even if you're subscribed to it, it's suppressed. So you will not find Tommy Robinson's stuff online, and he's banned on all forms of social media, so he has no means of sharing his stuff. So he's basically completely silenced. He's banned from travelling outside of the UK, with most countries refusing him entrance, and he's even banned from multiple cities where the police will escort him out of the city if he attempts to enter. This is all because of his reputation, not for things he's actually done. He has been arrested on multiple occasions and taken into custody. Not just taken into custody, but they bypassed any kind of arrest procedure. He had no trial, he had no protection, he was immediately put into solitary, and he was locked away without any charge. He was left in that situation with effectively unlawful imprisonment for weeks, whilst there were protests going on, which the news completely ignores, because anything relating to him is banned from being played on the BBC or any other British media. He is not spoken about in anything other than to be shit upon from a great height by people who have a voice, because he doesn't. This is how shit cancel culture gets. Whether you agree with what he says, what he does or not, I haven't even actually said what he stands for, because no one fucking knows. He doesn't have the rights to speak out against anything. The major issue he was actually speaking out against was a huge paedophile and rape ring that was largely Muslim around Birmingham. They have now been arrested, charged and convicted, and it was a real crime syndicate that was working inside Britain, that was protected by the police, because the police would not pass charges because they were afraid of being called racists. This is the kind of bullshit that cancel culture ends up leaving us with. We end up in a situation where groups that are the racial minorities can get away with fucking anything because people are afraid of being cancelled and they're afraid of being considered a racist. Because the fact is, a white man, particularly, but any white person labelled a racist can lose their job, they can lose their social standing, they can be banned off social media, they can lose access to friends and family, it can be used against them in court of law to take their fucking kids off them. If you are a white person and you are called a racist, it destroys your fucking life. If you are an Indian, if you're if you're Middle Eastern, if you're an Arab, if you're black, if you're Chinese, it doesn't fucking matter. You can be called racist, nothing will happen to you. It's only effective against white people. Basically, being called a racist actually destroys your life. The word racist against white people is more damaging than any other term you can use at this point. If you think there was any one race-specific insult and accusatory term, if there's ever one word that as a racial term is destructive, it is racist. Right? Because it is only used to describe white people. Like, the word nigger has nothing on the word racist. And yes, I have no fucking qualms with using the word nigger. It's just a word, grow up and get over it. If you're actually offended by that word, you really need to get a sense of perspective. Like, but it has absolutely nothing on the word racist. Because if I call a black person a nigger, not that I would, but if I did, it's not going to do anything. It might offend them, but it's not going to do anything. Their life is not going to end. They're not going to lose their job. They're not going to have their landlord kick them out. It's not going to be used against them in the court of law. No one's ever going to drag a black person into a courtroom and go, this person accused you of being a nigger. We're going to take your kids off you for that. But if you call a white person a racist, whether you've got evidence for it or not, they'll be dragged through the fucking mud by society over this. That's the reality of the situation now. There has been such an overcorrection in society that race relations have completely been destroyed. Right? Is there a racist problem in the West? Hell yes, there is a massive racism problem in the West. It is a huge racism problem against white people. Because for some reason people have decided that in order to combat historic racism, which has already been combated, we're going to blame currently living white people who have never been racist before in their lives for things that their great-grandparents did. This nonsense has to stop. That was question 3. There's 10 fucking questions. 4. From mixing fabrics to involuntary cannibalism, what transgressions would you boycott an author over? Fucking none. 5. I'm going to explain further. I will not boycott an author because an author does something. I will read a book because I want to read the book. I don't care what the author did. I don't research my authors. I don't read books because the author agrees with my politics. How difficult is this for people to realise? One of my favourite authors is Orson Scott Card. He's a massive homophobe. I don't agree with his politics, but he writes fantastic sci-fi. Like, I really enjoy the works of H.P. Lovecraft. The guy was a white supremacist. Like, an actual white supremacist. He was basically a Nazi. Like, he hated all other cultures, and he was very, very much a closed off kind of guy. Like, he hated the disabled, he hated other races, he hated gay people, he hated basically anyone who wasn't him and people who looked and acted exactly like him. And it's actually one of the things that works its way into the horror elements of his work. If you read into it enough, you can see that a lot of the Great Old One designs and a lot of the otherism that he puts into his horror is a direct reference to how he feels about other races. Basically, if you look at how he describes some of the horror elements in Lovecraftian horror, that's what he thought of other races, disabled people, gay people, and people of other cultures. That's how they made him feel. How fucking horrible his life must have been. How unhappy, how bitter he must have felt if he felt that way about other cultures. Really makes you think. I can't imagine feeling that way about other cultures. I love other cultures. It enriches life. I love learning about history and culture. I've been trying desperately and failing to learn Japanese for a long time. I love Japanese culture. I hate aspects of it. Japanese culture has a lot of problems, but it's also got a lot of beauty to it as well. I love what I've learnt about it. I've learnt so much about ancient European histories. Romans and Greeks, fascinating histories. I've learnt more and more about Russian history in recent times as well. Like, old Russian history was so interesting. And I studied Chinese history when I was in school as well. School and college, I studied Chinese history. I studied both ancient China and Maoist China. And the amount of things that you can learn. Like, there's cultures I've not learnt anything about. I know very little about any indigenous culture of the Americas. I don't know very much about African culture. Don't really know anything about Australasian cultures either. Can't say I know a great deal about Indian culture, if I'm honest, either. It's fairly far Asian and Eurocentric what I've studied, but there's so many different cultures around the world. To try and study everything is ludicrous. I mean, I know a fair bit about Egyptian culture. I showed quite an interest in that when I was younger, and that was fascinating. Egyptian culture is so interesting. Like, ancient Egypt it's one of the oldest and one of the richest old cultures you can look into. I did spend a little bit of time reading up on the Mali civilization as well. Like, the Mali kingdoms in Central Africa were one of the richest and most influential cultures of all time. It's amazing to look at what they've managed. But yeah, I can't understand how H.P. Lovecraft was so hateful. It makes no sense to me. I don't understand why he was. It wasn't actually hate. Actually, I'm gonna change that. H.P. Lovecraft wasn't hateful. He was fearful. He was afraid of other cultures. I'm not sure what he was afraid of. Shouldn't we read his stuff anyway, though? Shouldn't we understand that mindset? Isn't it better to know why a bigot feels the bigotry than to close off and pretend it's not there? 5. What does boycott mean to you? Not buy, not read, not promote, all three. How do you boycott? I don't. Pass. 6. What books or authors, if any, that you would have otherwise read do you but none? 7. When does boycotting a book or author become cancel culture? Always. I thought this was going to be long, apparently not. 8. How do you think power, money, size of audience, influence, etc. affect who is cancelling and being cancelled? Can a small booktuber cancel a best-selling author? What about a large booktuber and a tiny author? I don't think it matters. I think fascism is wrong regardless, you fucking morons. 9. Do you apply the same standards to booktubers you watch? Have you ever called out, confronted, messaged someone or unsubscribed from someone over an opinion? Fuck yes, I have. Right, I hold the same standards to everyone. I do not watch YouTubers if their content is preaching terrorism and fucking fascism. If your content is pro-BLM, is pro-modern fourth wave feminism, is SJW bullshit, then no, I don't watch it. Because why the fuck would I want to watch that? If you're actively promoting cancel culture, if you're actively promoting fascism, then no, I don't fucking watch you. And yes, I hold everyone to the same standard, both in real life and online. I don't have different standards because of the medium that I use to communicate with you. 10. If cancel culture is a destructive force, it is. A constructive force might be to highlight talented authors and excellent books from communities victimised by anyone you boycott. Highlight some authors and recommend us some books. How about I highlight some authors and recommend some books from people who have been cancelled? How about that for a change? How about I mention people like Sam Sykes, who was falsely accused of sexual assault, and then cancelled by your fucking you fucking idiots in the far left cancel culture zeitgeist. How about I mention the Lemony Snicket books? I can't remember the name of the author now, but the guy who wrote those. Same deal. How about JK Rowling, the obvious choice here, who is cancelled every fucking week by another bloody moron who can't get past the whole trans argument. Again, watch the JK Rowling video. It's one of my best videos. I actually have a steady mind in that video. I stay calm in that video. It's fucking amazing. I can't believe I stayed calm as much as I did. Frankly, I would normally be ranting a hell of a lot more. But yeah, so yeah, that's this tag. Honestly, I don't know what I was expecting, but Booktube needs to grow the fuck up. Have opinions, talk about books, talk about politics, stop promoting fucking terrorism, stop judging people by the colour of their skin, stop trying to make out that gender isn't, a reality. Right? Stop using that as an excuse to claim the people who actually do recognise that gender is biological and claim that they're transphobic, because we're fucking not. Stop making everything about social politics because of your stupid, quasi-cultural Marxist bullshit. Booktube needs to get over itself. It needs to get some actual diversity of thought. We need some genuine conservative and libertarian voices in here so that someone can counteract the communist fucking nonsense that gets spread on Booktube every fucking day. How's that for a response? You know what, Epic Tales? You handed me the baton. I've beaten Booktube over the head with it. I hope you're happy. That, I think, is all I need to say on cancel culture. Fuck cancel culture and fuck anyone who promotes it. Let's not have any more fascism, shall we? That's me out. Bye.